everybody, how you doing? Bob Vokes here for the Gilly Glue. Got some real serious stuff and some real fun stuff probably going to happen here. The fun part is here I'm here in the shop, but it's warm enough, so I got the door open, so it provides some nice light. But also we got about 3 or 4 male yellow-bellied sapsuckers all competing for territory here. So there's one tapping over there, and there's one tapping over there, and one over in behind us. So there might be a bit, you might hear a bit of tick, 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 tick from the yellow-bellied sapsucker, but that's okay. And the other thing is that not often I get kind of intense about a lot of things. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I like to have a lot of fun, I like to work, I like to do all kinds of things. But sometimes things just kind of, some things happen and it causes you to take some action. And that's what we're doing today. We're taking some action. We all like to progress. We all like to earn a living. We all like to have abundance and plentifulness and all that. And I get that. I understand it completely. And I'd be the first guy to the front of the line to get a shovel in my hand, do some work, and get her done, and have the reward for that. And I understand that completely. But as we progress through time, we're realizing as humans we're destroying this earth. In every form, from pesticide, herbicide, to pollution, to the way we do things, to products, to chemicals, you name it, we're doing it. And as the late Stephen Hawking just said on his deathbed here, not a couple of months ago, he said that if we don't wake up, we're going to be gone. So there's going to be nothing for our grandchildren, there's going to be nothing for their children, because we're going to mess it up. And we are messing it up, and we're messing it up big time. And so we all know the benefits, and I talk about habitat and how it benefits us all, because we are nature, nature is us. There's no distinction between the two. We are nature. We're equally as a part of nature as this sapsucker that's hammering outside the door here. He just happens to be a bird and I just happen to be a human. But we're all part of nature. And the sooner we recognize that and really apply that conscious thought about that, the better off we're going to be. So what's got me all riled up, I'll tell you. So anybody that's been out in nature and what does anything, and as Canadians, we paddle a canoe. So I have my canoe paddle back in behind me here. I love to paddle a canoe, been in canoes hundreds and hundreds of times over my life. Been all over the place canoeing and boating and fishing and in the wilderness my entire life. So up in the Temagami region, and we're all familiar with that, where that is in northern Ontario. Up in Temagami, there is a pristine wilderness area there of acres and acres and acres and acres, of course, just in that area alone. But there's 3 provincial parks that sort of form a triangle in the Temagami region. And inside that, those zones of those provincial parks, there's about 100 square kilometers of pristine wilderness that's been part of canoe routes, been part of portages, been campsites and stuff in that area for thousands of years. The traders that built Canada used a lot of the routes that these campsites and inland lakes and things are. There's absolutely no roads into this 100 square kilometers of pristine old growth forest. So the Friends of the Temagami region, if you go to their website and start to look up their campaigns, so it's the friendsoftemagami.org is their website. I have it up here on my iPad, because we're going to look at a couple of things. So if we go to the friendsoftemagami.org, you will see on the left-hand side of their site, it talks about all of the things that they got going on. So canoe, Temagami news, ask an expert, maps and some things. And over on the left-hand side here, they have campaigns. You click on that button, you're going to see all the campaigns and the different things that they're working on in this drop-down menu. And right on the bottom is Solace Wildlands. And just click on that tab, and it's going to take you directly to that campaign that they're working on this campaign. And there's a whole map of the area of what's going on. You can read all about it. You can find out who to connect with, who to talk to voice your opinion about this and help them out. But essentially, they want to build a logging road through the center of this pristine wilderness so they can cut down the last remaining old growth forest. Now tell me that makes any sense. to go into this area, to log that area, for what purpose? We're the most abundant country in the world, or one of the most abundant countries in the world. Figure out what to use for things other than cutting down old growth forest. It's absolutely not necessary. It's just the plain and the short of it. It's like using pesticides and herbicides. It's absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, they're still wanting to build a road right through that, right through portage routes, right through campsites, right through pristine wilderness to get at the old growth trees that remain in that area. And this piece of property borders the 3 provincial parks. And it's right in the middle there. And they want, look, that orange line is where they want to build the road through this piece of property. So we need to get on board with the Friends of Temagami. We need to go to the campaigns that are there. We need to buy a membership from the Friends of Temagami, which goes towards fighting these campaigns, but also goes towards the maintenance of those canoe routes, campsites, and the trails through the bush and all those areas and the portage and stuff. We really need to help them out here. We need to talk to everybody that's involved in this, the MNR, the federal government, the provincial government, your municipal government, everybody that we can pound the table to. I very, very, very seldom, if ever, get involved in political stuff. But this is one thing that just makes absolutely no sense to me. And as friends of the Gilly-Glue, we need to be friends of the Temagami region and help them out to fight this craziness, and so that we can have land and things that are left over so that our grandchildren, I've got a granddaughter who's going to be 3 here in a month, and I got a newborn that's 4 months old, and another from my son's son, and I want to take those guys in these places and what have you, and to areas that I got to go as a kid. We're Canadians, for heaven's sakes. We cannot let this happen. I'm sorry to be boisterous here and loud about this, but this is really something that struck a chord with me. It's absolutely unnecessary. It's not. Nobody's going to starve to death if they don't go in there and get those trees. It's not necessary at all. It's on Crown land. It doesn't need to be logged. It's just plain and simple. That 100 square kilometers isn't going to make or break the difference between the company that wants to log it, the industry that's going to use them, and or the rest of this country or you and I. It's not going to make a hill of beans of difference, and it makes absolutely no sense to go in there. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to read our blog. Contact the Friends of the Temagami, friendsoftemagami.org. Go to the campaign section, buy a membership, and get involved. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.